Day to everybody. Thanks for all of those of you joining me online simultaneously while I share this out with you. As always, I will record this and I'll upload it for everybody to get into. They can, for those that can't make the call today for appointments or whatever, but thank you. Quick, just a little factoid here for you guys. All the reports I'm going to share with you today, with the exception of one, should be in the AC shared folder. So that way you guys can go look it up. I'm not going to include all those links in the email. I'm just going to do like a high level, hey, here are the bullet points of the things that we covered on the email, in the email. The things that we covered on this call will be in the email, no links. Anyway, whew, it's Monday. I've only had one thing of coffee. I probably need a couple more. Anyway, okay, friends, let's start at the top here. I'm gonna do some screen sharing with you. First of all, I want to just to show you guys where we're at with calls from last week. It was a very active week last week. It was good to see our calls are back up. Pam, I don't know what the heck you did all week other than dial. Do you have carpal tunnels in your hands? It shows 259. There's a lot going on. 800 is probably seems to be a good median number when we're back to staff and full staff. So probably be between 800 to 900, even 1,000. With Sly last week, if we count Sly, we had a little over 1,100 calls. So Sly was utilized a little bit, and you can see where the influx of those calls is at. Primarily, it's in the admit stage, and that is actually probably a good place to be in at this point because we've got consults happening. And we're going to get to a little bit more about consults here in a minute, but we got consults going on for our teams, which that it probably reflects what's happening here. At least I hope that's what it is. But we still have a number of students in this bucket here, app started and app submitted. So this week, what I would like you to do is spend some more time on the app submitted and app started pool. Those starteds, it's kind of our students are kind of getting in, especially on the U.S. side, but also on the Canadian side too. They're kind of going on the dark side of the moon. We're going to start losing contact with them just because of their activities, their calendars, and so forth. So this is a good time to try to get them before they go on the dark side of the moon to say, hey, you started an application with us. Love to see you complete that. How can we do that over the phone together? You got 10 minutes. I'll walk you through the application myself, whatever. However that looks, try to get them engaged and try to get them moving. And the same with our app submitted. Now we're getting outside the transcript window, right? And so the transcript window opened up there from the middle of January, probably the middle of February from a more recent transcript. And now we're getting into this place where the students might be waiting for their final transcript to see where their GPA is at. And I certainly understand that. There's a little gamification in their mind, like I've got to get my GPA up so I can get a better scholarship. But at least let them know this is a great way to get a placeholder on account so they know where they stand. And so have that conversation with them about getting their official transcripts coming in. So this week, spend a little bit more time in the app started, app submitted. But of course, work on your consults. We've got a lot of consults out there to do, and it's just a lot. And I know there's a lot, and there's help on the way. But just continue digging into that. Thank you. This shows a lot of activity. You guys are actually thinking and making your actions in the right part of your database. So good for you. All right. Preview day coming up. That's Friday. Right now, what I show is if we go just the fall 19s, we're probably looking in the neighborhood. I didn't amend this really quickly. Let me rearrange this for a second. Excuse me. Burning time, burning time. Okay, I want to put term here. Just so we have an idea of how many fall 19s. I think as of yesterday, I showed that we had 24 fall 19s. If that still remains to be the case. Taking out the Barkowskis. I don't know why he's still in there. Thought I filtered him out. It's okay. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Okay, it's over with. Don't talk amongst yourself. I show a total of 18 of our students. Never mind. It's more than 18. Yeah, I show 8. There's 12 here. Oh, there are some students without a term. Let me take this stupid grand total thing off. It messes everything up. Come on. You think I would have prepared for this? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know why this happens. Okay. All right. So it's looks like 25 students we have for fall 19. And one of the things that you'll see that these are the students that I'm glad to see that we've got students coming from all over. The local students are showing up. That's good. I would like to see a few more of the locals, but hey, it is what it is at this point. I believe Sydney and Tiffany are calling through and confirming their students, so you should see some record preview day confirmation. Please check your student records. If you've got a student who's RSVP'd on here, just open up the account to see if there's been a call. If not, that's a great reason to call that student and say, hey, just double checking. I have one coming. I already text messaged this morning. Said, hey, man, I'm so excited to see you in Canada. Could be something like that. So please reach out to your students if you don't see a call and confirm it, and then put a note. Why is that? Because that's closed activity. That's engagement. So put that on the record and say, hey, confirmed, preview day. Okay. And when we look at preview weekend, coming up, I didn't reset this one either, but I show right now, as of yesterday, 39 students on here that are fall 19, which is good. We're about 100. We're about 190 total RSVPs. So we had 39 fall 19s. The rest are fall 20 or fall 21, which is pretty typical for spring. We tend to get a higher grade 11 or junior high school or juniors in high school show rate in the spring. It's a great opportunity. We still have time to get those students on campus. So please, when you're talking to your admit pool and your submitteds, hey, and even those students that are just kind of out there on the fringe, hey, get them to campus. This is a great time to do it. Spring break is happening. It's probably not as attractive to some of them coming to check out of school, but it works out for the family. So please reach out to them, and let's see if we can continue to drive that up. So 39 currently for fall 19. Okay, next up, again in the AC shared folder, we have this is counselor ratings 1, 2, and 4. We can now kind of start to see these groups. So what we're going to be doing as the directors, we're going to be breaking these out in groups and coming up with maybe some ideas. What can we do to assist you in working through some of these chunks? Please continue to talk to your peers. Hey, what are you doing? Jonathan to Chris Funk. Hey, what are you doing about your students on the fence? What can we do together? Is there common interest? Do you need me to support there? Hey, let's walk through some scenarios. But start to break these out in chunks and see how we can start to somehow or another make some strides into these. And I'm going to get to the counselor ratings here in a minute and why they're important and how we can maybe help out with this a little bit. But the good news is this has been largely tightened up quite a bit. If you remember from last week, we had quite a few students that were still left with no counselor rating. Now the list is significantly shorter. We have 53 total students that are that don't have a counselor rating on file. So that's incredibly improved. So thank you very much for spending some time doing that. You can see each one of these buckets, we have students. And there's a very good chance that student went from inquiry to app complete or app submit without little to no contact on your part. That's not uncommon at this time of year because these students are starting to have that sense of urgency. The big deal is that when they get to, like even myself, I've got one here, app complete, not answering the phone. He's an international student, is not answering the phone. I've tried emailing him. I've tried the Velvet Hammer. I've got no movement on him. And that's going to happen sometimes. Sometimes the blanks are what they are. They're blanks. But at some point, we got to move them to counselor rating of 5. I don't know anything about this student. Okay. And so just, think about that. But we do have some students in here. The fact that we have a deposit, that's not it. That's no bueno. We got to clean that up. If you have a deposit that has no counselor rating on it, okay, look, that's a red flag. You need to get that tightened up. Okay, but for the rest of these, as they start to move through, even on the app completes, hopefully at this point, you've been getting alerts. I mean, I've been getting alerts. Like, I know who the student is. He's non-responsive, but make sure that, hey, you've done everything you can do to answer the council rating. And here's why that's important. Okay. So because consult season's happening, and a lot of you have a lot of consults that you've got to do, and we know that at least the last couple of years, when we can sit down and have these conversations with our students and families, the conversion is dramatically better than not. Okay, so what we're wanting to do is we're going to Kelty is going to send an email, okay, on your behalf. Okay, and there's some caveats to this, and we haven't initiated, we haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but she's crafting the email, and the email will be something like, hey, something to the effect of, we want to sit down with you, we want to go through an interview with you, the consult process, whatever the language will be. Here's how you can schedule that with me. Okay. Now, for those of you using Calendly, this could be really beneficial to you, because what we're going to do is Kelty is going to create an email. It comes from, let's say I see Pam on my screen right now. So it'll come from Pam, and in there will be Pam's Calendly link. Okay, and her Calendly link will be in the email. Pam will have blocked out times all the way through April, that, hey, here's the times when I can meet with the student, and the students, so the email will go out to them, and it'll say, hey, please schedule with me. Let me know when it's the best time for you to do this. Think about how you want to block your time. I do all mine in 30-minute blocks, Monday through Thursday, and I have Saturdays open from 1 to 5. And so I've been doing them in 30-minute blocks for just my normal admissions things. Maybe with the calendar, you're thinking 1-hour blocks. But start thinking about, okay, how am I going to manage my time? You're going to have students that automatically say, hey, boom, they're gonna opt in. These are the achiever kids. These are the checkbox people. This is the mom and the dads who are helicoptering this. They're going to start opting in on these calendar appointments. Not all of your students will get in here, but this is a way to, for those that are just naturally raising their hands and asking questions or engaging with you, they're going to start to opt in this. But here's the key thing for this process to work. We need counselor rating, or the admit block. Hold on one second. Here, let me pull up a student. I'll show you, because maybe some of you don't know this. On the actual application file, you will see now that we've moved the consult block up. Okay, so this is really important for you, right? Because many of you have already had consult appointments, but you haven't updated the account. Okay, if you'll notice here, admissions consult, it was off campus. Actually, it was she attended off campus because I was in Texas. So you just need to update, and you'll actually see that, well, there's several categories of update here. Maybe you didn't know this. So I'll show you. In the drop down, you've got options here: on campus, off campus, online, and I have several now that are online, phone, scheduled, TBD, away. I'm not really for sure what away is. Maybe someone can provide what away is. Did I have that away, or were they away? Because that'd be technically a no-show. Anyway, maybe Josh can provide some definition around that for us in Slack. And then also no-show. This is really important, okay? Because the email that Kelty is going to send out is going to be triggered off of this blank. If it is none, your student, and they fit the criteria of being admitted, and this field is blank, that student's going to get the email. So this is really important, because otherwise, maybe you just did the consult meeting a couple of weeks ago, but you haven't updated this account. Now they're going to get a subsequent email from you that says, hey, schedule this really important meeting, but the parents are going to be like, I thought we just did that. So please make sure that you take some time this week to update this accordingly. If you've got nothing on them, leave it blank. That's great, okay? And then probably sometime next week, Kelty is going to trigger this email. For those of you using Calendly, please send me your Calendly link. Okay, just your generic Calendly link. I'm gonna put those all in one email for Kelty to build into your emails. If you don't have Calendly, if you're not using it, that's okay. You don't have to. Okay, this is not a mandatory requirement. It's another app. Maybe you're not using it. I use it. It's connected to my Outlook. We are now exploring using because Calendly does connect to Salesforce. So we are exploring using this in Salesforce for the fall next year. So this is a little bit of a beta for us. For those of you that are heavy Calendly users, this is a great opportunity. If you're not, please do not feel the need to add this in, particularly if it's just more noise to you. They will just reply back to you, hey, yes, I would love to get a scheduled appointment with you. And then you're just going to have to do a little bit more manually and say, hey, here's my available times to do that. Okay, so that's what we're doing. That's why this consult rating, this consult block is really important. So please make sure you're doing that. Okay, dang, that's exactly 11:15. I did really good, didn't even notice the clock. So I am done. All right, friends, thank you very much. I will send this link out with the recording here in a few minutes. Appreciate it. Have a great day.